Rumbling. I have barely crocheted, but the rumble was nice. Hello and welcome to this week's video. So, I know you're waiting for like a crochet or a knit video, but this one's going to be a little bit different. My schedule is changing up quite a bit and I know I won't have enough time to film and record the way I used to. Like where I'd have like the crochet process and then maybe over a week or 3 I'm filming the behind the scenes and then I post the video after I finish the piece. So what I want to do instead is where I just have weekly videos where I talk about what I'm working on, the finished pieces that I've finished, things I would like to make, and then also if there's any new yarn that I have, I can show you my new yarn and then we could think of projects to make with them. Because I've recently been using a lot of second-hand and thrifted yarn and usually I can't plan projects around them because I use what I have. You get? I think that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, so let's just get into this video, and while I do that I'll be knitting a piece. Yes, I'm a knitter now, so I'll be knitting this piece. I'm freehanding what I think will be a vest. That's what I think it will be. About the finished piece, we'll have to find out when I finish it. Anyway, so recently I've been really getting into knitting. As you may have seen, I recently made my first knit project, which was a knit cardigan, and after that I just felt the need to get more into this craft. Because like with crochet, I feel like crochet is so near and dear to my heart, because when I started, it was out of like how can I say it? It was all like, Anyway, let's try that again. When I started crocheting, it was out of, I would say, necessity, because I started when I joined uni. So around the first month when things just changed, I moved out of home, then started living with my brother, and then started school, and everything just felt so foreign to me. So I remember at one point I just came back home and just broke down. And why? I don't know. I think I just felt such a sense of emptiness and I couldn't tell why. And I felt like if this continued, something would go wrong. Like, I'm just new to uni. I cannot have a breakdown at the beginning on the first week of this whole process. So I don't know how I came across crochet. I must have been watching YouTube videos, or I don't know. It just landed in my laps. Let me just say that, because I don't remember. I don't remember searching crochet. I don't remember looking. I just remember I saw some YouTube videos and thought, okay, I guess I could make that. So I asked my mom to buy me some supplies, and that's pretty much how I started crocheting. So it became like a comfort in a way, like a safe space for me where I could just go and crochet these things. So what I would do is when I would come back home, I would download YouTube tutorials for all these crochet things, and then I went back to school. I would spend most of my free time just trying to follow those tutorials until, you know, I got the hang of crocheting. Anyway, I'm supposed to be knitting. So once all that happened, I realized that this crocheting that I was doing wasn't just helping my mind, it was helping me overall. I don't know how to explain it, because prior to crocheting, I feel like my body image issues were very out there, you know, like very apparent, because most of the time I'd be in all black, in oversized clothing, trying as much as I can to cover as much of my body as possible, because God forbid someone looked at me and had opinions about my body. I would not. I would fade away. I would incinerate, you know, and I'm not a phoenix. I won't come back. So I feel like with crocheting, I slowly began to look at myself differently. Rather than something that I needed to hide, I looked at myself as something that I needed to appreciate more, you know? In as much as I couldn't wear my crochet pieces out yet, I would wear them in my room and I'd feel all cute and everything. I'd be like, yeah, I made that. And I think it just boosted it even more because I could make these clothes that fit properly. Because being a tall person, it's quite a struggle to just get anything that fits. From jeans to tops to literally a lot of things. They're mostly too short or too small because I'm a tall person who isn't Huh? I have small measurements. Is that what I'm trying to say? I think so. Like I have long arms, but I have a smaller bust size. So my arms fit into something like a large, but my bust size fits into a small medium. So that's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, once I got into crochet, I felt like every moment I would have to create something. It's like I was growing something, it's like I was planting a seed. And then later, as years went by, I could see that seed blooming into beautiful flowers or a tree and having fruits and everything. I was supposed to be talking about my current finished mix, and I went on a tangent as to why I said crochet. Whether I leave it in, we'll find out in the edit. But anyway, so now that I'm getting to knitting, it feels like I'm going through a similar process, but then now in a way where it feels light and airy, because if you know, when it comes to knitting, the fabric is usually much more light and airy and uses a lot less yarn, so it's quite a nice process. And yeah, that's where we're at. So what I've currently made, after I made the knit cardigan, I made a knit beanie, because I figured if I made a smaller project, I would want to knit some more, and I did. So I went onto Pinterest and I found a pattern. It was actually a free pattern for a knit beanie that used knit and purl stitches, you know, to just have this really nice texture. And I really like how it turned out. I used some of my second-hand yarn. I had just enough to finish it, so lucky me. And I liked the stitch of that beanie, so I'm going to be incorporating it in this. So this bottom part of this top, I'm using the same ribbing that I used in the beanie. And then the other thing that I finished is this, I can call it what, a knit vest that I'm wearing. It was supposed to be a long-sleeved mesh type of sweater, but then I overestimated how much yarn I had and it turned out to be a vest. So yeah, we have this vest next. I really like how it turned out. It's nice, it's airy. The cotton, I think it's cotton yarn, I'm not quite sure, but the yarn I used is quite soft, so every time I just feel it, I want to give myself a hug, because it just satisfies my sensory cravings, is what I will say. And yeah, that's basically what I've made the past month or so. I haven't really done much. So now let's move on to my current mix, like my current whips. So first we have this knit piece that I'm making. I want it to be a vest, like some sort of vest with more of like a higher neck than this one. I mean, it's already a high neck, but let me just say similar then, something similar to this. So it's going to be a cropped vest with like a ribbing at the bottom is what I'm visualizing. Keep in mind, I'm a beginner knitter. This is all part of the process. So yeah, currently doing the back panel. I've already done the front, and the front one is going to be in black and then the back in red. So also playing around with colors a little bit because it's fun. I don't know, why am I trying to explain why I've chosen black and red for my color choice, but anyway, yeah. And other than that, I'm also making a tote bag. So I've really been wanting to make a tote bag, but I just didn't want to make a plain tote bag. So I always kept it off until I was like, okay, this is what I want to make. So I have scrap yarn from my cardigan projects, like the Earthscape cardigan. So I have some of the scrap yarn in the earth tones color, as well as the blue tones for the blue cardigan that I made. Wow, so many words for such a small explanation. Anyway, so I want to make the tote bag with both those colors and to kind of represent like the land and sea. So like the bottom part of the bag would have like earthy tones, and then the top bit of it would have like the blue tones that could be like the seas and the skies. And then onto it I want to do some color work, so I went onto Alpha Patterns and looked for, you know, something to put on it. So that's what I'm currently working on. It's working up quite well. I just hope the finished piece looks as good as I imagine it to be. Anyway, I'm also just seeing that this is not a good idea for me to try and knit and talk, because you can see I'm failing. But anyway, that's all I'm working on right now, and I'm really excited about both pieces. So I'm just trying to not rush things, because sometimes I feel the need to finish things immediately and just get the satisfaction, but honestly that's not why I knit or crochet. It's for the love of the fiber arts, for the love of the craft. So I'm trying to love the craft and enjoy the process even more. And yeah, those are the only 2 pieces I'm working on. I usually don't like working on many pieces because it overwhelms me, so probably you will see these 2 pieces in the next few videos, hopefully, you know. I'm just hoping that it doesn't take me forever. And yeah, and then finally I have some new yarn, not really new yarn, it's thrifted yarn. And when I say thrifted yarn, what I mean is I went thrifting and bought some knit and crochet pieces, and then I unraveled that yarn, and then I used that yarn to make different things, you know. That's it, that's what I mean. So I got some really pretty yarns, and I don't want to make them just yet, but I'm sure they're gonna be knit projects just because of the amount, and knit takes less yarn, so this would be perfect. So yeah, I'm really excited because these are all such beautiful colors of yarn, and I feel like I can get very creative with it. And one thing I'm also doing is I'm keeping all the scraps from all these different yarns, and then hopefully later on next year maybe I can bring all those little pieces of yarn and then make a big scrap yarn project. That would be so fun. That would be so much fun. Anyway, that's basically it. I feel like I have rambled more than I've ever rambled before, but yeah, this will be the new format of the videos. I hope that you'll stick along and you won't go away, please. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you're working on down in the comments below. I would love to hear what you're making, you know, that would be nice. And yeah, before I ramble on, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you when I make another video. Bye!